This is Super Yacht News with E. Sisman.
Hi, welcome back to the channel. Okay, on my left here we have motor yacht Golden Odyssey. She is leaving, in the photographs here, she's leaving Hamburg after a recent refit period. Now the stats of this yacht, 123 meters or 404 feet, built by Ulysses in 2015. Can carry 32 guests in 16 cabins, so that's quite a lot more than most yachts. Gross tonnage of 7,690. Now, the reason why this boat was in the news recently is because it was formerly owned by Khalid bin Sultan Al Saud, a member of the Saudi royal family. However, the vessel was arrested in Malta a few years ago and it sat there for over 2 years, and eventually the vessel was sold to pay off the money that was owed against the boat. It was sold off through the courts. The vessel then headed back to Maker, Lursen, went back to Hamburg and had a refit there. It's just come out of that refit. So the new owner is believed to be a Chinese billionaire, although that's as much as we know so far. If you know who the owner is, please be sure to get in touch and let us know. The next thing on the screen there, this is a video of motor yacht Opera leaving Portsmouth. If you remember, in a few previous videos, we talked about the fact that she'd come on a maiden voyage from Bremen and sailed straight to the UK. She'd been sat there for 4 or 5 days. We mentioned in that video that one of the reasons that she came to the UK was because she was leaving the EU in order to export the vessel outside of the EU to prevent the vessel from having any tax liabilities in terms of the cost of building the yacht. Reportedly $450 million. If they had to pay the tax on that, that's 20% of 450 million, over $100 million. By exporting the vessel out, because obviously it's flagged in wherever it's flagged, the Cayman Islands, I think. So therefore, once it leaves, as long as it leaves the EU, it's not liable for that tax. And then in the previous video, I said then it's free then to go straight back into the EU and no problems. So the vessel, after it left the UK, headed down to Gibraltar, where it currently is in Gibraltar, probably filling up with fuel. And then it can head into the Mediterranean, as I said in the previous video. And then, spend the summer in the Med. All right, so we'll move on. We've got an update on the Nordhavn Yacht that was actually abandoned by the crew because of rough weather and the fact that the vessel had got into trouble. The owner of the vessel actually contacted me and gave me the story. We did an update. The original story, we said that vessel had engine problems, but in the following video we said that actually what had happened is the props had been fouled by a line from a tender that they'd been towing. Now the owner got in touch with us and said that what had happened is he had gone with his crew and they'd hired a boat to take them back out to the yacht, which they'd left at anchor in rough weather. They couldn't move the vessel. And it was too dangerous to try to tow the vessel back. In actual fact, a tanker, a 190 meter tanker that was passing by at the time tried to help them to get a line on it to tow them, and the tanker actually crashed into the yacht and caused some damage. I'll put pictures on the screen. You can see the damage that it caused. Quite superficial damage if you think about the size of a 190 meter tanker and what it could have done to that yacht, right? So a small amount of damage, really. When they dove under the boat, they saw that one of the props had the line from the tender wrapped around it, fouling that prop. The other prop had a fishing net on it, unbelievably. So, there was a lot of comments saying, don't these boats have 2 engines? Well, yes, they do. But apparently both of the props had been fouled by different things. Well, what are the chances? So that's the reason why the vessel was stranded there. Now, what they did is they were able to free those, which was great. And the vessel was underway. Now, in the meantime, the Australian Navy had spotted this 38-foot tender that they tow. They spotted it 230 miles away, because obviously once the line broke off it drifted out to sea. And the Australian Navy spotted it, and then they towed it back to Viviere to Yacht. They towed it back to them, gave it back to them. Once they got underway, they were able to take it with them. And now the last thing I got from them said that they're en route to Brisbane to get the damage repaired that was caused by the tanker who was trying to help. So that's quite a story, isn't it? Okay, so we'll move on. And this is motor yacht Ulysses is back in the water. Now, if you remember, a few months ago, we told a story about how this yacht was down near Panama, and one of the vessels that was coming to drop anchor to wait for its slot crashed into Ulysses and damaged the vessel. So they once they left, there wasn't serious damage, I believe, but once they left there, they went up to Florida and they went in to get it repaired. And the vessel's just left the refit place in, I think it was in Tampa Bay, but I'm not sure about that. So the yacht is owned by former Russian Yuri Milner. What do I mean by that? He was Russian. He renounced his Russian citizenship last August after the invasion of Ukraine. He had a dual Israeli citizenship at the time, so he's now Israeli, an Israeli citizen, but he does live in the US. Now, his foundation has donated $100 million to tech for refugees fleeing the Russian invasion. And the tech is designed to help refugees find provisions, shelter, and comfort. So, $100 million is a lot of money, isn't it? Now, he is, Yuri Milner is, as we've reported in the past, the owner. If you go online, they still say it's Graham Hart, but he does not own that vessel anymore. All right, so on to our main story now, and this is about a yacht that has run aground on a reef. Now, I know what you're thinking, didn't we just leave this party? We did, yes, but this is another one. It's a 12-passenger charter boat that has run aground on a reef in the Jurien Bay Marine Park in Australia. Now, as you can see in this photograph on screen here, the boat is half out of the water, so they must have been traveling at quite a pace to mount that boat on top of the reef there. The Australian Maritime Safety Authority said, or the AMSA, said they're going to carry out an investigation into the cause of the vessel running aground. Now, as far as we know, this has just happened, or it's just happened a couple of days ago, and as far as we know, the vessel is still in that location. Let's hope the recovery operation goes more smoothly than the one in Hawaii recently. Now, the vessel's run by a company called Diversity Charters, and they run 14-day cruises on the Diversity 2, which is the vessel here, for up to 12 guests. And the charter boat is actually sold out from now up until June. It's described on their website as a twin-hull 67-foot yacht, which is 20 meters, and it's a catamaran, obviously. And they said that it's got a lot of space on there, but it does carry 12 guests, so that doesn't sound like an awful lot of space for a vessel of that size. The company said that it's too early to tell the extent of the damage, and the AMSA said that no further information is available at this time. So the company also said that they are going to rearrange all of the people who are booked on the cruises, and they're going to try and figure out some way to either, I would imagine, either refund them or find a substitute vessel until this vessel can be moved off the reef and repaired. Hopefully it doesn't get sunk. One more thing, be sure to check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/eSysman. We just posted the first of a new series of videos on there called Patron Chat. Now, whenever we talk about anything remotely green or clean coming on a super yacht, people criticize. You'll also get to see exclusive videos not published on YouTube, obviously like this one, and you'll get early access to features without adverts, and you'll get to suggest topics for future videos and get to ask questions for patron-only Q&As. So check that out at patreon.com/eSysman. All right, if you've got any information about any of the stories here or any other stories, please be sure to get in touch. You can do that through the About page of the YouTube channel. You can do it on Instagram, on Facebook Messenger, and you can also get us on Threema. Be sure to like this video. It's very important to get the video pushed out to other people. Hit the subscribe and hit the bell for future notifications. All right, guys, thanks very much, and I'll catch up with you soon. Bye-bye.